Ugh.
Wednesday. It's hump day.
It is hump day. Look at that hair.
Halfway through the week. And you're tired, you're rubbing your eyes before we hit record. Like, what's going on? Are those puppies wreaking havoc still?
Well, I have an update on that. How's that sound?
Okay, that's great.
An update on that. It is Kurt and Jen in the morning. This is our podcast. Thank you for being here. Podcast, video cast, all the casts. We'd love it if you would like or follow or anything. Anything you do, we would like.
Thumbs up. If you like what you hear, even just right now, just hit that thumbs up button or the heart button.
Today, how about this for excitement? We have the most expensive order you can get at Starbucks.
It's spendy.
Which could possibly kill you.
That's not good. The phrase that's a huge red flag to doctors and new Airbnb offerings include renting a celebrity. What?
Our question of the day from Monday. You know you've been married a long time when ...
Have you read some of those answers yet?
Yes, we had a lot of answers and they're a lot of fun. That's coming up. Also, we reveal there's a new flavor for Nutella. Do you say Nutella or Nutella?
I say Nutella.
Okay, there's a
Nutella. Is it Nutella?
I think it's Fielder's choice on that one.
I think it's gross.
Okay, we reveal Nutella's first new flavor in 60 years. And finally, do you refer to your pets as pets or kids?
I know your answer.
I know my answer too. Let's hear about this. You're being all governmental today.
Well, I was just going to tell you because I don't think you know this. I have to go to the IRS office in Everett because I got a thing in the mail that said, we've changed your return. I thought I was getting money back, and they said, no, you're wrong. You need to pay us some US dollars. So I have to go get that straightened out. And then if I can even get into that office in time to leave there by 1 p.m. to pick up my daughter, Macy, to go to the Department of Licensing office to get her license. And hopefully I'm going to attempt to get my real ID as well.
Wow. That is a full day.
Isn't that exciting?
There'll be no waiting in lines or sitting around for an hour.
Probably no downtime. I plan on being very productive on my computer.
Okay. I think last we talked to you about the dogs we were fostering, that we had a foster parent for the one puppy.
Oh, you found an adoptive parent or a foster parent?
An adoptive parent, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, that's a done deal.
Yep. Out of here.
She's gone?
Yeah, that was one that wore the pink collar that we cleverly called Pinky.
Was that hard?
It was a little bit, to be honest with you. It was, they've only been here for a month. However, it didn't take long before the phone call came. Dude, when it starts with dude, I'm like, yeah. We wouldn't call if it wasn't an emergency, but can you take another puppy for a while? So,
shut your mouth.
Yeah, they flew them in from California because they were overloaded in California, and so we may have another one here. And we adopted we adopted Matilda, so we have the one puppy that is going to be a permanent puppy here. That's Matilda.
You're going to call her Tilly.
Tilly, yeah. But it's it doesn't surprise me because they always need help. This is one of those things where you got to say, you know what, we're in it to win it, and we for the right reasons, hopefully, just to get these dogs into good homes. So we will, hopefully, our house will survive.
So when do you get the new puppy?
They flew him in last night. And they have to go through a process, I guess, before they can be fostered or something. So I don't know. We'll find out. Actually, let me see. I hear Tilly. This could be her debut.
Okay. I feel like you have the biggest dog heart ever. I would not be able to foster doggies. I just would not. And I don't know if you're getting Tilly because she broke through the dog door. Because the last time I was at your house, Kurt Cruz, your dogs broke through the dog gates and they chewed up my tennis shoes.
I asked you if your tennis shoes were okay.
No, they're fine. I'm just saying they grabbed them and they put them other places than at the front door where they started and undid the laces. And
no puppy.
Tilly?
Apparently, unbeknownst to me, we are getting Tilly trained on crate training, and I went into the room where she was roaming free just moments ago, and she's in her crate, and Dana was like, we got to leave her in there for a while so she gets used to it. It's like, okay, what a letdown. I promised a puppy and there's no puppy.
Rude.
You know what? By the end of the show, there'll be a puppy. How's that?
I wanted you to know that something big is happening in Seattle. It happens every year, and I forgot that it was already this time of year, and that is the Seattle International Film
Oh
Festival.
yeah.
It starts tomorrow and runs through May 25th. And just Google Seattle International Film Festival and you can get the full rundown. But it's a big deal in Seattle. It's big.
I think it's a big deal in a lot of places. It's not like, Aspen or anything like that, but yeah, if you're into the films, that's a great place to be.
Yeah.
All right.
The most expensive drink at Starbucks.
Yeah. There's
And
somebody
it will kill you. What? Tell
somebody
me.
went into doing this, and this is like if they put together, I guess, the single most expensive order you could get at Starbucks for like one drink, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And here's what you got to do. It's just a normal drink, quote unquote, but you make a lot of modifications.
So this is
Uh,
on the app. You can order this on the app. This is how someone figured this out. They use the
yeah,
app.
so you
Okay.
order it. It's a venti matcha cream frappuccino with an additional 12 shots of espresso
Holy,
plus 12 affogato style shots. Is that 24 shots total?
isn't affogato when they put it on ice cream?
I thought that was it. So the base drink costs $6.25. The extra 12 espresso shots adds $15. The affogato style shots is another $15. More add-ons include mocha and dark caramel sauces, caramel drizzle, frappuccino chips, and 1 pump of chai, caramel crunch topping, vanilla bean, and chocolate malt powder, 4 scoops each of that. And for the heck of it, whipped cream. That part is free. The whipped cream is free.
Oh,
All that
thanks,
other stuff,
Starbucks.
all that other stuff adds up to $41.55. And with tax, about $45. So the most expensive drink at Starbucks, about $45. And it says here, if you value your health, maybe you shouldn't get this because they jokingly say it could kill you.
Why?
That's
Because
a
it's
lot of shots of cappuccino,
oh, okay.
espresso rather.
It's the 12 shot the additional 12 shots. It's gonna kill you.
The additional 24 shots.
Oh,
12 shots of espresso plus 12 affogato style shots.
shot. I just looked up affogato style shots. It says
Yeah.
it refers to a shot of a hot espresso poured over ice cream or gelato. This modification adds a caffeinated element and a visual marbling effect to a frappuccino or other beverage.
Well, apparently those cost an extra 12 of those shots is $15. So
okay, it says affogato style modification. Some coffee chains like Starbucks offer an affogato style option where a shot of espresso is poured over a frappuccino, creating a marbled effect and adding a caffeinated boost to the drink. Okay, well, now we know. And that is I could never.
that's a lot of caffeine.
That's a lot of.
But now you know if you want to, right?
This was a story that actually, it kind of made me laugh a little bit because I'm like, what is this? Because the headline had me hooked. Hearing this 6-word phrase is a huge red flag for doctors. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is it?
It's a red flag. We need to know about this. True. What is it?
So there's an ER doctor in Jacksonville, Florida that's trending after he revealed what this phrase is because he sees it specifically when a guy says it. Whenever he hears it, he's assumed something is very serious that's going on with the man's health until proven otherwise. So what's the phrase? My wife made me come in.
That's 6 words. Hey, my wife made me come. You know what? I bet that's pretty common. And I don't know even how serious the thing has to be where yeah, I've been having this thing with my some numbness in my foot. My wife made me come in,
Yeah.
But it could be certainly dangerous because do guys, I think overall guys tend to not concern themselves with their health as goodly as they should.
That's what he said. He said that men are more likely to ignore health issues or tough it out instead of seeing a doctor. So when your wife made you come in, there's a good chance a real health issue is there. Other doctors replied in the comments from the post that he made with more phrases that they see as red flags. And there's a similar one for women. It's a red flag if she says anything like, I didn't want to waste your time with this, but.
Oh, it's not my husband made me come in.
No.
No.
It's women try to make excuses, I think, for what's happening to them. Oh, it's probably just indigestion. Oh, it's probably just my stress level. Oh, it's probably just this.
Right.
And then we don't go and get seen when we should. So,
Well, and that could go both ways too. I think a lot of people are like, it's not that big of a deal. So keep an eye on your health. This one, we all know about
I don't
Airbnb.
really get this.
Airbnbs, of course, especially if you're into traveling, sometimes rather than staying in a hotel or some swanky place, you're like, or actually, sometimes the Airbnbs are swanky places. So the founder of Airbnb says it's not just for renting houses anymore. They're adding new services, they say, things like massages and personal training, plus experiences tailored to specific locations. Like you can take a pastry making class in Paris or a gallery tour in New York City. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, that does sound very cool. They're probably just capitalizing on what already exists there, right?
Right. And what's the new big deal, Jen?
That you'll be able to rent celebrities. I don't really get this though. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's we well so this guy Brian Chesky, the CEO of Airbnb, says he has quote dozens of famous people ready to participate. And this is like remember those experiences that you used to auction off? You can have a lunch with Julia Roberts, or you can whatever the case may be.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's what it is because initial offerings it says and this again through Airbnb. Initial offerings will include a day playing football and eating barbecue with Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, or day-long experiences with, say, Sabrina Carpenter or Megan Thee Stallion. I imagine it's not cheap, but it's I mean, I don't know how much it would cost to have barbecue with Patrick Mahomes, but if you've got the money, who knows? Maybe it's $10,000. I don't know. Maybe it's $100,000.
So
But you could do it through Airbnb.
the CEO of Airbnb is hoping that people will get off their damn phones.
Quote.
AI is magical, but you know what's more magical than AI? The real world and people and relationships and memories. I agree with that 100%. I
Hmm.
imagine that, like you said, this is going to cost mega amounts of US dollars in order to participate.
Yeah,
This is the celebrities' non-traditional revenue.
right. NTR for celebs. That would, you know what? There are people, the people that I'd like to meet. Of course, that'd be like Paul McCartney, which would be in the, I don't know, $1 million range. If you want to, hey, Airbnb, how much to meet with Paul McCartney for a day
I
and
mean,
play
there's just
guitar together?
so many things that go anyway.
Yeah,
Good
that would
for
be pretty
them.
cool.
Good for them. And we can do that.
So from Monday,
Yeah.
our question of the day was and remains, you've been married a long time when blank.
And your answer was when you can go to the bathroom in front of the person.
Yeah, yeah. Did that make the list?
No, nobody said that one.
Okay. Well, you have been married a long time when you're like, I don't care if you're in here. I gotta go. Um, but we did. Did you think? I know you said you were excluded from this because you're not married, but you've been in a relationship for a while. Could you contribute here? What would you say? You think you've been in a relationship, any relationship a long time when blank? You help your boyfriend build his house
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Kurt. Yes.
for free. You know what? It's not free. Nothing is ever free. So your answers to, you've been married a long time when blank. Nancy says, all the stories from his youth well enough to tell him yourself.
That's a good one. Yeah,
I wonder if that gets an eye roll with Nancy when when he's like, hey, did I ever tell you about the time when? She's like, yes.
That's a really true one. Like when you can tell, it doesn't even have to be from their youth. Just you can retell their stories that are their go-to stories.
Yep.
Uh,
Amanda, I like this one. She says you buy each other the same anniversary card multiple years in a row. That doesn't mean the same card multiple years, but you both go out individually to get your anniversary card and come back with the same card.
yeah. She showed a picture of that on Facebook. It was fun. Eric said, the answer before asking the question. Dana said, and that's not your wife, at least that I don't think it is.
No, I don't think so.
When the two of you are thinking the same thing and say it at the same time. And Carol said, you just look at each other, then crack up because you're thinking the same thing. So those are kind of all in the same vein.
Those the inside jokes and such, I think, are fun.
Rick,
Rick, I don't know about Rick's answer. Rick says you've You know you've been married a long time when you both totally forget your anniversary.
Don't forget the anniversary. You think it would be opposite of that because you've been celebrating it so many years, right?
You both remember, yeah?
Oh, Ed's is when she leaves.
You've been married. All right. Alex says when you sleep in different rooms. That's actually uh that was I won't say it was an issue with Dana and myself, but when I first started doing the morning show, so this is way back when, what, 2018, 2017? 20 anyway, uh I thought, you know what? I gotta go to bed now at 7 o'clock, at 8 o'clock at night. Let's just, sleep in different rooms. And she saw that as a sign that the relationship was not a good relationship. There was some trouble there. And I said, I don't think so. I think it's just about getting good sleep. And since then we've decided, you know what, it is worth getting good sleep. So if it's we go to sleep together, and then if there's too much snoring or too much restlessness or too much whatever, the other person is free to go to the guest room. No foul, no harm, no foul. Just get some sleep. Sorry, I
Interesting.
went off on a tangent there. I apologize.
No, that's a good one. I like that little story. So you and Dana try to sleep in the same room, but if it's not working on particular nights, you just okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, Sabrina said you know every move they make. Brittany said you got to use a calculator to figure out how long you've been together. Yes, I'm speaking from experience.
Right. How about going down to Felicia? Felicia said, you know how many poops they have each day and when they take them?
I mean,
I guess.
I could say that about Pat. And we've
Right.
only been together for 2.5 years.
We have some answers. Carol said you finish your partner's sentence. Yes. How about Karen? When you know what he's going to say before he talks.
Lena, Lena said you can find each other in the store by the way your fart smells. Come on.
Yeah.
Gross.
You
Sylvia,
follow the scent?
Sylvia said when you want your alone time. Kim said when you don't argue anymore.
We had
Uh,
another, you finish each other's sentences. How
Rashida
about
said your husband knows what fork you like. Like if yeah, I think that's a good one. Like if you like something very specific, like that's kind of random, they
you
know
have your
it.
special fork? Sure, why not? Tom says when you miss your anniversary just one time, and then Renee finally, she says, you've been married a long time when it's time to get out. But she put a laughy face after it.
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully she's just kidding. Thanks for your answers. I love
Yeah.
that. We'll post another question at the end of the show on Facebook on Kurt and Jen in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this story made me not happy.
Yeah. Well, go for it.
Okay. So this is a what would you do situation. What would you do if you were a customer in a drive-through and you got your receipt back, or even your to-go bag or box, and on it was written help with an exclamation point? What would you do? Well, this happened in Florida at a place called Freddy's Custard and Steak Burgers.
Of course, it was Florida.
Of course it was Florida. So and they got their takeout box, and in big bold font it said help. So they weren't sure what to do. So they posted a photo on social media and asked if this is something they should call the cops about, or is it just a joke or a random placeholder or something. A lot of people said that they should let someone know, which I would call. I think I would call the police.
Right. Well, you failed to mention it was actually on two things. They got the receipt. The receipt just said help, and it also was handwritten on black marker in the takeout box as well. Help again. So it does appear that somebody's indicating that they need help.
So this couple called the police. The police sent someone out, and the customer said they found out that it was just an employee playing a prank. Ugh. Wouldn't you call the police? Would you call the police?
I think so. Yeah, you can't really, stop the person and say, "Hey, did you mean to write help on here?" Especially if they're in a
Yeah, and if they're in a
situation
bad
where they've been
situation,
kidnapped or something like that. So,
don't cry wolf.
yeah, that's like don't yell fire in a crowded theater as well. It's one of those things. I wonder because that's a waste of resources. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And speaking of fires, can we do a side note here?
Yeah.
Actually, kind of close to your house, Kurt, there was a big fire 2 days ago, and Pat got to go help put it out. And if you think, well, duh, he's a firefighter, of course he did, but you'd be surprised how few firefighters get to go to. It's a lot of medical calls, people falling down, car accidents,
Mhm.
hardly ever a fire. So it was pretty exciting that he got to, not great that someone's house was on fire, right? But he
Right.
got to help put it's big when you get to go to a big fire.
Use your actual firefighter skills for firefighting.
Pretty exciting. I was super proud.
Yeah, and turned on, weren't you?
Oh, I just thought it was, I just loved that we got to do something here.
Did you just read the rest of the story?
No, I just read the first part and I was thinking, oh my gosh, they're making pumpkin spice Nutella. No,
That's not the case.
That is not it.
The headline is Nutella's first flavor in 60 years is comically uncreative. And what you saw was it's saying in the age of things like pumpkin spice flavored Spam, mustard flavored ice cream, they're saying this new flavor from Nutella, the first new flavor in 60 years, is remarkably
boring.
Lame.
Yeah.
They've had more than 6 decades to think about this. First U.S. flavor for Nutella in 61 years. Prepare to have your world rocked, Jen. The new flavor of Nutella is peanut.
So it's going to be like Reese's peanut butter, like Reese's peanut butter spread, right?
Or would it just be peanut butter? I mean,
no, it won't be because Nutella is chocolate and whatever the nut is, hazelnut, I think it is. What is it?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, now that it's just going to be like a Reese's peanut butter cup in spreadable form.
That well, that sounds pretty delish.
I think so too. Actually, I might like Nutella now.
I will admit here that I've never had Nutella in my life. So,
come on, Kurt, are you sure?
It wasn't that big of a deal where I was growing up in Cincinnati and Midwest, Detroit, and I don't remember it being a big deal. Maybe my parents just never wanted us to have it.
You haven't ever had those, like when you're at like where they're serving snacks, there's like a Nutella thing and you can dip like a pretzel in it or something, or a breadstick or whatever.
If I had done that, then I would say that I had Nutella.
I'm going to bring you some Nutella.
You don't have to bring me some Nutella. It's fine. Additionally, to add to the lameness of this announcement, this new peanut flavored Nutella doesn't hit stores for another year, spring of 2026.
Oh, for crying out loud. Talk about pre-marketing.
Jeez.
What?
Okay, enjoy this. Here you go.
But the biggest kick I ever got was doing a thing called the crocodile rock, while all the other kids were rocking around the clock.
No?
We were hopping and bopping to the crocodile rock.
I mean, I like that song a lot.
Yeah.
One of my favorites by original artist Elton John.
Oh, hang tight. I think we might have puppies.
Oh, okay.
Do we have puppies to show? I'll be right back.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so hopefully you're not just listening, you're watching. I feel like maybe we should also post this on our Facebook page. But Kurt, this is going back to Kurt's new puppy. Poor little Sinclair Pinky got let go and adopted by a nice little family. And Kurt and Dana decided to keep, I think her original name, her litter name was Shayla, and they renamed her Madeline. Matilda, because you're calling it Tilda. You're calling her Tilly. She is huge compared to what she was. Oh my gosh.
Ooh, puppies. Ooh, puppies.
Congratulations, Kurt Cruz.
She's a cutie. So
she's probably wondering where her sister is.
Her sister is living with a firefighter in Wallingford.
Are you guys ever going to visit so they can?
I think so. Yeah, we told them that it'd be kind of cool to get them together every now and again. If that's good for the dogs. If they say that's not a good idea, but I think it'll be fine.
That becomes just a doggy play date.
Yes, I think that's okay. So did we talk at all about why I played Crocodile Rock?
No, not yet.
Okay, you want to start with this one?
I'll talk about it. So he's playing Crocodile Rock because there's another big question. Is this brilliant or is it gross? And I actually showed this to Pat because there's a little video that had gone with this story. And it's talking about washing your Crocs. If you have, the shoe wear Crocs,
right?
Putting them in the dishwasher to wash them because they're like this, they're like a plastic container. Yeah.
Well, now see, that's where I guess you run into the problem because I was thinking, hey, there's ways to wash your baseball caps in the dishwasher and stuff like that, but the problem with this one, people are saying, is it's not really a new idea. This hack or whatever has been around since 2021.
Oh, it has?
But there were a bunch of dishes in there as well, knives and forks and plates and cups, and then also his Crocs. So the concern was some cross-contamination going on. Hey, Dane, do you think that would be cross-contamination if you wash Crocs in the dishwasher along with your dishes?
She's a scientist. That's why he's asking.
Crocs shoes. No cross-contamination? She says no, it's going to get sterilized.
That's what Pat said too. Pat's like, what's the big deal? There's no
Yeah.
big deal with this because everything's getting washed. That's why you're putting everything in the dishwasher. It cleans everything.
Yeah. But people were, so anyway, so on the, is it gross or brilliant? You're going to go with, it's pretty smart and it's okay.
Yeah, why not?
This guy said that his Crocs came out spotless and nice and shiny, but they did shrink a little from the heat.
Yeah, I would think that you'd have to be careful with the heat on that because, I mean,
It gets real hot in there.
I don't know what Crocs are made of. Like, could they get melty if they hit an element or something? I don't even know. And wait, could we go back to the baseball cap thing? You could put your baseball cap in there.
Yes, I've seen it. You know, because well, sometimes the bills of the baseball cap get they soak up the sweat. You know what I'm talking about. You've seen old hats that have the sweat stains and stuff in it. And I read a hack one time that said, hey, just throw your baseball cap in a dishwasher.
Huh, interesting. Okay.
I'm not going to condone that because maybe it doesn't work.
I thought that you were playing Crocodile Rock for this next story, but
I am playing. I did play Crocodile Rock. Should I play it again?
Well, no, because it's not technically. Well, no, you should not. You should play regular music.
Here's the deal. We don't usually have two crocodile stories in one.
But it's not a crocodile, Kurt Cruz.
You're right. One of the stars of the original Happy Gilmore, you probably heard that they're making a second Happy Gilmore coming up here, has passed away. Nobody knows how old he was, but it's estimated that he was at least 80, may have been as old as 100. Morris the alligator.
That's why there's the confusion, because they don't know how to tell the age of the alligator. So it wasn't a crocodile. Morris was an alligator.
Yeah, but I still play Crocodile Rock for him, and that is different. I know different animals. You're right. What's an alligator song? Do you know an alligator song? See you later, alligator. Okay, I should have done that one.
After a while, crocodile. Yeah.
Actually, that's kind of mean since he died. See you later, alligator. All right, so Morris, the alligator who bit off Chubbs Peterson's hand in the movie, he has passed away. Apparently, he has a number of films to his credit. Morris does. He was the alligator in the movie Alligator in 1980. I guess he was in Interview with a Vampire in 1994 and Dr. Dolittle 2 in 2001.
Morris has a lot of creds.
Well, if he's 80, he's been acting for a long time potentially. So I guess Morris spent his twilight years. There is a place in called the Colorado Gator Farm. So that's where he was. That's where he passed. Look at your face. You just read this last part, didn't you? They plan to have Morris stuffed so he can, quote, scare small children for many years to come. That's what he would have wanted. What?
Okay.
You don't like the scaring small children part? Chomp, chomp.
All right.
I wish people could see that.
I'm using my hands like an alligator mouth and chomp, chomp, chomp.
I think that's what the Florida Gators do. Don't they do the fans in the audience? I'll do a big old chomp with their arms.
I don't know.
Yeah, I believe that is the case.
Who let the dogs out?
Oh, gee.
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Okay,
Well,
this
just
is totally you. You do not have to be a Gen Zer to have that be in this group. It says Gen Zers consider their pets to be their kids, but boomers consider them pets.
And there is still a bit of that, attitude, I guess, that you run into people, especially farmers. It's like, oh, the dog stays outside. That's where the dog's supposed to be. Sorry, farmers that don't talk like that. That was bad. Yeah, I'm a farmer. That's how I talk. So Gen Zers, they say, about half of Gen Zers consider themselves pet parents and see no difference between caring for a pet and caring for a human child. Millennials are the generation most likely to consider their pets siblings.
Oh, well, that's taking it to a different.
Pets are sisters or brothers.
That's taking it to a new level. Although I do tell Riley and Macy when sailors going nuts when they get here, I'm like, they're just excited to see their sisters.
That's true. And then I guess it's the boomers that mostly consider their owners pets. Yeah, we call ourselves pet parents.
I know you do. That's why I said I know
Mhm.
what camp you're in for sure, and you're not even a boomer.
What's your attitude on it?
Oh, they're kids. Yeah. I
So
mean,
you're
technically, someone should have probably gotten me a present from Sailor for Mother's Day.
How about fostering another dog?
What do you mean fostering another dog? Yeah, you're a foster parent.
No, you.
I do not want, need, no. That
That's
big
what I should give you
hard
for
no.
your next big day.
That's a hard no, Kurt Cruz. I just don't have, I don't know. I don't, and plus, you
Okay.
know what? I rent a house. That's bad business.
All right.
I've been there, done that, and it's expensive.
Well, these foster pets are actually destroying my actual house,
I
not a
know.
rental.
I know.
That was by choice. We're happy with our choice.
I put this story in because I just thought it was an interesting one. Major
Mhm.
League Baseball has reinstated Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson into Major League Baseball because they were banned, right? Because what I don't know about Shoeless Joe Jackson, but I know that Pete Rose was doing illegal gambling, right?
Pete Rose was betting on baseball. Shoeless Joe Jackson was part of that the White Sox, but they called them the Black Sox back in 1919. They were paid money to throw the World Series.
Oh, right. I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
If you get to see the movie Eight Men Out, phenomenal movie about that. So yeah, so of course, well, Shoeless Joe Jackson is long gone, but Pete Rose just died earlier this year, I think, right?
So yeah, Pete Rose was banned back in 1989 for betting on games while he was managing the Cincinnati Reds.
Mm-hmm.
And then you talked about Shoeless Joe Jackson, but yeah, Rob Manfred reinstated them. He is the Major League Baseball commissioner. He reinstated them yesterday, making them finally eligible for Baseball Hall of Fame. I think that's. I mean, I like that.
Well, my first thing I was thinking was them saying, well, why didn't they do this while Pete was still alive? But it turns out that I guess, if you have a lifetime ban, once you are no longer alive, your lifetime is over. And so anyway, so I guess Pete and Joe both can't get into the Hall of Fame until 2028 at the earliest because their greatest contributions to baseball came before 1980, meaning they'd have to be considered by the 12-person classic, blah, 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 blah. So but they are now. I don't know why it took Shoeless Joe Jackson this long, but Pete Rose, and that's a big deal. He tried to get his name cleared for many years.
Yeah, he did. The committee, you know why they can't be in the Hall of Fame until 2028 is because the committee that's in charge of like voting doesn't vote until the end of December of 2027, which I don't get. I would think that they'd instate people like every year, but apparently they do not.
Look what I found.
Another dog.
Hey, everybody, look at my floppy ears.
Tilly. Okay. Do I get some music?
Yes, I gotta put the dog down. Hang on. Do I get some music?
If you want to see, you can, if you're, I know a lot of people listen to this on like Spotify or Apple or Amazon. If you watch it on YouTube, you can see Kurt as he's talking about his dog. So you can see little Tilly.
She's pretty awesome.
You should post Tilly on your Facebook page. Can you do that, Kurt Cruz?
That will happen as well, yes.
Okay. Our question, it's time for a question of the day, which also comes with a story too, because summer's just around the corner, which means you might be hoping to have more time for your favorite hobbies. But we want to know, I love this question so much.
Yeah.
What hobby is an instant red flag?
And this came from there was a list online that said basically hobbies that are like you hear about a hobby, say if you're on a date or if you're with coworkers from family and friends on social media. And that's happened to me before. You just, it's like you find out I'll use it's like, yeah, I fly model helicopters, life-size model helicopters. It's something that somebody says like, you do, that one seems innocent enough, but these apparently are, when you hear about these hobbies that your friends or coworkers have, this is an instant red flag.
I asked Pat this question because I was putting together some show prep last night.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him this question. I said, what hobby is an instant red flag? And he's like, when the people that collect the animal skulls and bones.
Did that make the list? Because it should be number one, I think.
I said, People do that. And he's like, yeah, like they take and he's like, what's weird to me is they actually have to like take the bones and like bleach, like they have to put them through a chemical process to get them white to be able to display them. And I'm like, oh my God.
Well, the hobby of collecting taxidermy animals did make this list we have here, along with people that said, you know, if they put their kids in beauty pageants, um, being super into celebrities in their lives, like over the top as far as that goes. And this,
Multi-level marketing was one of them.
what about this person who said someone said having to watch every single Hallmark movie is a red flag?
That was on the list. I missed that. That's you.
Yeah. We don't watch every Hallmark movie. We just leave it on in the background. So there you go. What's a hobby that's an instant red flag? We would like to know what you think.
I think this will be interesting. All right. Okay. Well, you know what? Thanks for spending the morning with us, or whatever time of day you're listening. Thank you for spending some of your day with us. We love being part of your life. We'll be back with a new episode on Friday morning. So we can't wait to see you again. Until then, make good choices, find joy, spread kindness, and laugh. It's good for your soul.
Laugh.